Avengers Doomsday is set to come out next year, and so far we really don't know anything about the story outside of rumors that are being leaked. And according to this latest one, it's going to serve as a vehicle in order to erase everything in the MCU after Avengers Endgame. Now, I think that's a little bit of a stretch, even though there hasn't really been a lot of great things coming out since Avengers Endgame. I don't see them trying to erase everything entirely. But there is, I think, some validity to these rumors that I'll get to in a moment. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a comment and hit the like button too, because it helps me out. So this is coming from Comic Book News with the headline, Avengers Doomsday rumored to erase everything after Endgame. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. A big rumor hit the net suggesting that Marvel may be preparing to rewrite its own history with Avengers Doomsday and erase everything post Endgame, which has been a big failure from Kevin Feige. And one of the things about the MCU after Avengers Endgame was that they were trying to basically build the next generation of superheroes, because Avengers Endgame was pretty much kind of like, and it really did feel like an end for everything up to that point. That could have been like the ending point for the MCU. That's why Chris Evans was supposed to step away from the role, or step away from the franchise. Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to step away, and they were supposed to kind of transition in new characters. But a lot of the new characters that they've been bringing in haven't really resonated with audiences. And even if the movies that they've released were financially successful at the time, and even if they were decently received at the time, since then there really hasn't been an audience outcry for more of those characters. At best, they were saying like, okay, that was fine, but I really don't need to see more of that. And the executives over at Marvel kind of see that, and they're like, the only solution is to bring back the characters that people love, because this new breed just hasn't been working out for them. And that's a large reason why they brought back Robert Downey Jr., even if it's for a different role, because they just need to have something there that can bring back audiences again. If true, that would include all of the MCU shows on Disney Plus, such as She-Hulk, Hawkeye, Secret Invasion, and Miss Marvel, which are confirmed to be big busts, as a majority of Marvel fans haven't been interested. And I think it would be a little bit easier to retcon those out of existence, or just to kind of ignore those, similar to what they've done with the Eternals, because a lot of those were separate from the overarching MCU, similar to what we saw with the Netflix series when that came out initially with Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. When those were released, the rest of the MCU just kind of treated that as if it was its own canon, separate from everything else. And I can see them doing that with a lot of the Disney Plus shows, because there's really nothing in those that they need to have that ties it to the overarching MCU storyline. Of course, that would also include erasing Feige's 2025 Marvel flop, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and Captain America Brave New World. To add to that would be flicks like The Marvels, the MCU's lowest grossing movie of all time, starring Brie Larson and Iman Vellani. Quantumania was another big bust. Feige's post-Endgame approach has been all about sending the message instead of telling a quality story. Obviously, it hasn't worked out. Yes, and that trying to push some type of message has been a reason as to why many of these movies have failed, but also a lot of the characters just haven't been resonating with audiences. Like I said, even the ones that were decently well received when they first came out and even turned a profit for them still weren't enough to actually get people interested in the MCU. The best that you could say is the movies that have been a success were just one-off successes, and it wasn't because it was part of the MCU, but it was kind of in spite of being part of the MCU, which is a stark contrast to how things used to be, where a movie of an otherwise unextraordinary character would have done a lot better at the box office just because it was a part of the MCU. That's no longer the case anymore, and I think the people over at Marvel Studios kind of understand that now. It was just they had to put out a number of flops in order to figure that out. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if they have truly figured that out, or if they're going to continue to double and triple down on just releasing movies and hoping that there'll be an audience for it just because it's a Marvel movie. This info comes via YouTuber Doomcock, who recently reported that Robert Downey Jr. was threatening to quit Avengers Doomsday due to the scripts being so bad. And I did a video on that at the time, and the same thing kind of applies to this one. What I said in that one is these are rumors, so you have to take them with a pinch of salt. But I do think there is some validity to them. I don't think people are necessarily just making them up. I think a lot of it just comes down to people taking a nugget of truth and just kind of extrapolating it a little bit, like this whole trying to erase everything post Endgame. There is some stuff that we've heard coming out about this that has been confirmed by Kevin Feige. This Variety article that came out last July, Marvel plans to recast the X-Men and eventually Tony Stark after Avengers Secret Wars, but reboot is a scary word, says Kevin Feige. So not necessarily saying they're not going to be rebooting it, but a lot of people were speculating, and Kevin Feige kind of confirmed that after Avengers Secret War that they're basically going to not necessarily reboot the entire MCU, but basically just bring in new characters, because they want to still use the characters of like Captain America and Iron Man, and they understand that actors like Robert Downey Jr. are not always going to be available, or they're just actually getting pretty expensive to keep Robert Downey Jr. involved. So they're like, okay, well, we'll kind of find some way of doing a soft reboot of the franchise where we can recast the characters. And when you have different dimensions and other things like that they're dealing with, well, then you can have some type of in-universe justification as to why you're recasting the characters, and that might be where these rumors are coming from, that they're going to be getting rid of everything post Endgame. But I think this is just taking it a little bit too far. According to multiple sources, and sources not ours, the new plan for Doomsday is the movie will pick up after Endgame, making all the movies shown after Endgame non-canon. It will pick up the real Captain America and his desire to live a life with Peggy, writing a completely new future. We are still working to get more details about this, so more is coming soon. If true, this would effectively erase the past several years of Marvel films and Disney Plus shows, resettling the timeline to the point where Steve Rogers stayed in the past with Peggy Carter. Now, I could believe that this is where they plan on starting the movie. Like if that's the first scene of the movie, it's the past showing Steve Rogers with Peggy Carter. I can understand if that's the case, but that could also just be kind of like a setup for the overarching thing. I don't think just because they're saying that's where the movie is starting, that necessarily means everything after Avengers Endgame is going to be erased. I think when it comes to the different dimensions that they're dealing with in the MCU, there are ways that they can go about doing it where they're erasing some of the stuff, but also keeping other things, kind of picking and choosing what they want to bring into the future of Marvel and what they're planning on getting rid of. Because if you just look at everything that's come out after Endgame, so this is all in chronological order. So Avengers Endgame is right here on the list, and see 4, 6, 8. So there's been like 16 movies since Avengers Endgame come out, and not to mention the Disney Plus shows. I don't see them getting rid of everything on here. Some of the characters that have appeared in these ones have also appeared in or are also set to be cast in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday, or they're announced in this. But just look at like Spider-Man, that was still a successful one. Eternals, I've kind of already mentioned that one. They can just get rid of that and no one will notice. Spider-Man No Way Home, okay, they're going to keep that. What else? You know what, there's really hasn't been a whole lot of new ones out here. Deadpool and Wolverine, they're definitely going to be keeping elements of that one too. With the X-Men, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, I don't see them necessarily scrapping those characters entirely. So I think this is going to be more of what I was saying, and that they're going to use this as an excuse to kind of change up the whole, like shake up the whole MCU, their universe, and just kind of pick and choose which franchises they want to pursue and which ones they kind of want to retcon, and that they're going to be recasting, and which ones they just want to get rid of entirely. We don't know what that will also look like. Says here with a lot of the story focused on Captain America. I believe we don't have an official announcement that Chris Evans is back in the movie, but it says in the article that he's been spotted kind of in London where they're supposed to be filming this, and he's looking like he's in decent shape, like he's in his Captain America form. That could mean that he's working on the movie and they just haven't announced it yet. But I mean, if he's going to have a prominent role in the movie, like it's being speculated according to these rumors, then there would have to be some announcement at some point that, yes, Chris Evans is in it, because I don't really see them concealing that fact for too long up until the premiere of the movie, unless his role is just very minor. But if he had a significant role in the movie, then there's going to have to be some announcement to it. But I think like I said, a lot of this is people just taking some existing rumors, some stuff that we have confirmed from Kevin Feige, and just kind of expanding on it and speculating on what this can mean. But this isn't just from one source. A number of other people are also talking about it. This rumor also lines up with another circulated on X, My Time to Shine Hello, posted that Captain America decision to go back in time with Peggy is a spark of the drive that drives Avengers Doomsday. If I understand correctly, Steve going back in time to be with Peggy created the incursion that killed Dr. Doom's family. Now Doom is hunting Steve to kill him for what he did, manipulating everything in his past to achieve it. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what this means for the future of the MCU, but let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click the like button and share the video out there, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.